Hi, I'm Cam, Denny and Jeannie's son, and I'm here to share my favorite time with Grandpa. Is mainly just, always riding snowmobiles and four-wheelers around the property. And the one I remember is he'd come up and give us fresh baked cookies that Grandma made, and when we'd be playing paintball up in the Themes property, and he'd go to leave and say, "Bet you can't hit me," and then get on his four-wheeler and ride away, and we'd hit him a few times and feel bad about it.
Driving around with him doing dust control, and always stopping in and getting ice cream, or stopping by and getting a hot dog somewhere. Seemed like everywhere we went, he knew where to get a good hot dog. And riding snowmobiles around the property and just riding around, and it's always just a fun time. Always a smile on his face. He knew everybody. Everybody always loved him. Everywhere we went, waving at him. Just good times growing up.
Hey, I'm Drew. I'm Denny and Jeannie's son, and I just wanted to say a few things that I'll always remember about Grandpa. I always remember going out to his house, and he always mowed trails for us when we were little kids, and we'd ride the go-karts and scooters and everything on them, and shooting BB guns and shooting the 22s.
I have so many great memories with Grandpa. Some of the best ones are probably just riding snowmobile, go-kart. He always had fun things to do around his house. Anytime spent with Grandpa was fun. Something I'll never forget is every opening morning of rifle season, he would fire off 3 shots and play taps.
So many good memories with Grandpa growing up. I think just golf karting and go-karting and wood burning, swimming at Sandland, the BB guns. Grandpa always had something so fun for us grandkids to do, and he always did them with us. He was always excited and ready to play, and that was amazing. One thing that was funny about Grandpa is he was the only one that really encouraged me, and I guess let me lick the salt block in the backyard of their house that the deer would lick. And I know it's really gross, but when I was younger, I just thought it was so funny. And Grandpa was just, he didn't care. He was just, "Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, you won't hurt a thing." And he's just always so funny and so positive.
So I just have so many amazing memories of the time I spent with my grandpa. A few that, really come to light as I think about it are all the times that we were there, all the grandkids were there hanging out, and he was just always available and, ready to hang out and make sure that we all have a good time, to, from riding snowmobiles and go-karts and four-wheelers to shooting guns and taking us on the tractor and trailer ride, all the way out to the cornfields. He was a great grandpa, and I know every time all the grandkids went over to his house, we knew we were gonna have a great time there, and it was just gonna be so much fun.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Some of my favorite memories of Grandpa are always having candy in the corner cabinet in the kitchen, which is still there. Just checked this week. I also remember being in Sandland, and it's always time for ice cream, an ice cream sandwich or ice cream on a stick. And I also remember Grandpa always having cash on hand, but always wondering if maybe he could get a little more from Grandma.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some of my favorite memories with Grandpa are having sleepovers, watching The Sandlot, and waking up before the sun because he decides to bust down the door, flip on the lights, and blast the trumpets all over the house. His favorite breakfast was a bottle of pop in one hand and a candy bar in the other. He always had time for us. He worked really hard, but he always had time for fun, and I'll always remember to stay happy, have fun, live simple, and be kind to others.
Something that I remember from him that makes me smile is him and Grandma coming to my races in high school. They went to so many of them, encouraging me on, and it was so amazing to see them at the finish line. Even if I was just running 20 minutes and it took them 4 hours to get there, I really did appreciate that. Something that Grandpa had taught me was work ethic. He was always staying busy, always doing something or helping someone, and I strive to be that way every day.
I have so many good memories about Grandpa Doug, and it's hard to really choose just one. But when I think of Grandpa Doug, I think of going to Grandma and Grandpa's house as a kid with Brandon and Blake and me and Kelly, and me and Kelly would sleep in the teddy bear room and Brandon and Blake would sleep in the cold room. Of course, there were always the morning trumpet wake-ups whenever you spent the night at his house, which is bittersweet. It's pretty loud in the morning, pretty rude awakening, but very memorable time at Grandma and Grandpa's always. The fact that he'd wake up every morning and pray for every one of his grandkids by name with Grandma. Married to the same woman for over 65 years, and always praying for friends, always having his family in church, always telling us all the time growing up that the most important thing is to serve the Lord.
The one thing that I will always remember and carry with me always, though, is how he always wanted to ensure that all of us were living a good Christian life, and I'll never forget that.
What Grandpa taught me is that it's always worth your while to sit down with someone and get to know them over a cup of coffee.
I think Grandpa really taught me to appreciate music, whether it's through like his hymn sings or recording us singing as kids on his little tape recorder or lending me his old keyboard. He really taught me about all the love that you can put into a song like that.
He was very selfless. He always put others before him, you know, whether it was giving someone a $20 bill to go out to eat, or it was, you know, throwing, you know, the keys to his truck so they could go pick something up. Whatever it was, he was always there. He was always ready to help, and you just know he was a guy that put others before him.
My grandpa taught me one of the most valuable lessons in life. And this lesson goes for anyone, no matter who you are, especially if you're a Christian. No matter how someone's living, what religion they believe, no matter who they are, it's our job to love them, to only love them, to not judge them, not to condemn them, not to beat them down for things that they may be struggling with or things that they're doing that we don't agree with. Especially as Christians, it's our job to love everyone and encourage people and support them. And that's something that I always really appreciated that my grandpa did, because once I grew up and went on my own journey, falling in love with who God is, who Jesus is, I realized that that's one of the biggest things that Christians miss. We think it's our job to change people, and it's not. That's Jesus's job. Our job is just to love people. And that's something that's gonna stick with me and my kids and their kids. And I'm so grateful. Love you, Grandpa.